Hello, friends. We continue to answer your questions. Today's question is, why does a being who created the vast universe and possesses infinite power care so much about the small mistakes of a small person like me? In other words, while a human is almost nothing in this universe, they are threatened with a consequence as severe as hell because of their actions. What do you think about this?
Yes, first of all, thank you. Of course, there are actually several questions within this question. In fact, by answering this, we will also be answering those questions.
So it's a comprehensive question.
Sometimes people even say things like, we are just stardust, we have no significance in this universe. So, while human beings are considered insignificant in this vast universe, why is the universe created for humans? Why are humans given so much importance? And why are they threatened with hell because of their sins? This is a very great consequence, a significant result. The verse in the Quran that addresses this issue is, "We have certainly created man in the best of stature." This has been explained with the secret of Ahseni Takvim, and there is a magnificent masterpiece in the Risale-i Nur that interprets this, called the 23rd word. It absolutely must be read. There the issue is resolved from every angle. There is an answer to this topic that spans nearly 25 pages there. Of course, let us try to briefly touch upon it. First of all, in terms of appearance and physical form, man is considered almost nothing. However, in terms of duty and rank, his value is immense. From the perspective of faith and worship, he is the Sultan of the universe. In fact, if a person were to say, "This universe was created for me and serves me," this is correct. Man is physically small, but he has been created with the capacity to encompass a vast world within himself. For example, the faculties within man are each magnificent and miraculous devices and tools that encompass the universe. Let us consider the human mind. The mind has been created in such a way that it can penetrate all the truths in the universe. It has a nature capable of unlocking and deciphering the mysterious enigma of the entire universe. It can weigh the vast universe and has been created in a way that allows it to penetrate all the truths within the universe. For example, the imagination within a person can grasp the vast universe as if it were a sphere and can host it within his own world. Since the universe, from the moment of its creation up until now, has ultimately produced the human being, man is like the fruit of the tree of the universe. In other words, the universe has borne fruit and its result is the human being. In the rays, there is a question like this: why do we value a tree?
Of course, it is for its fruit.
We value a tree for its fruit. Just as we value a tree for its fruit, so too is the value of the universe for the sake of man. Especially the fruit of the human being, the greatest result in the universe, is the worship, gratitude, actions, deeds, and thankfulness of man.
In short, to put it simply, in terms of physical form, man is almost nothing. The universe is very vast and man is very small, but in terms of rank and duty, the importance of man is immense. This is what we understand from here. These are very beautiful expressions. It's as if the universe was created like a tree. Just as a tree, in all its aspects, is directed toward its fruit, so too is the tree of the universe in every aspect directed toward man, producing man as its result and serving his life. It's a truly striking analogy.
Yes, it is a Quranic analogy. The Quran depicts the universe as a kind of tree of creation and presents man as its ultimate fruit. We will be focusing a lot on this analogy because it is an important analogy. Just as the seed within the fruit is the means for the continuation of the tree, in the same way, through the faith in the heart's core, a person becomes the means for the hereafter, which is the continuation and permanence of this worldly life. In other words, a person's faith, beliefs, and deeds will result in the hereafter. This is of great importance at this point. In the same way, just as we say, a seed is as important as a tree, it is the same truth when we say, a human being is as important as the universe. We can say this as well. Therefore, even the slightest mistake in a person's actions can render the outcome of the universe meaningless and leave the factory of the universe barren and unproductive. Let's think about it. What is the outcome of a factory?
The product it produces, in other words, the manufactured good.
The manufactured good. The outcome of a factory is its manufactured product, its output. If there is no product or output, the factory has no significance. Let's give two examples on this topic from the 14th word. Then the true importance and responsibility of a human being will be fully understood. For example, thousands of people are planting, harvesting, working, and putting in effort so that the botanical garden can come to life, turn green, blossom, and grow trees. Then, the owner of the garden appoints one person to be in charge of the main valve that waters the entire garden. He assigns him the task of opening the valve that waters the garden. Let's imagine this garden where thousands of people have put in effort and thousands of hours of labor have been spent, and one person has simply been seated at the button that waters the garden. Let's say this person doesn't do his job, meaning he doesn't open the valve or press the irrigation button. In fact, we could even say this: by doing nothing, he causes the entire garden to dry up. Now, if someone were to say to this person, "You caused the whole garden to dry up, you rendered everyone's efforts and services useless. You nullified a great and determined outcome. You caused the garden to dry up." If this person were to respond, "What importance do I have? I have no importance at all," do you think he would be right to say that? If the owner of the garden were to demand justice from him on behalf of all the workers, and he replied, "What fault do I have? Why am I held so severely responsible and punished for such a small choice, such a small action, in other words, such a minor deed?" Does he have the right to say this? Similarly, let's imagine a large ship carrying all the clothes, garments, and food of a country. Thousands of crew members are working on it. Now suppose one person is put at the helm and his duty is to steer the ship. If this person neglects to steer the ship, meaning he abandons his duty, and as a result the ship goes off course and crashes into an iceberg and sinks when the owner of the ship holds him accountable, if this person says, "It's not my fault, I didn't do anything," if he says this, if he thinks this way, what difference does my small negligence or mistake make? All I did was not turn the wheel. Do you think he would be right to say that? In the same way, a person is the captain of the ship that carries this world to the hereafter. And he is God's vicegerent and addressee on earth, tasked with carrying this water of life that will make the garden of the world bloom in paradise and will be the means for the continuation of the garden into eternal life.
In other words, although a person's body is physically small, he has been given a very great and highly significant position. And at this point, we cannot judge by looking at the smallness of a person's deeds. A judgment can be made by looking at the outcome of that small deed. For example, a man commits a crime. On the surface he might say, "I just moved my finger, I pulled the trigger," but since punishment is given based on the outcome, it means that when a person fails to fulfill his significant duty in the universe, it causes very important consequences to remain unfulfilled. Because of this, he is threatened with a punishment as severe as hell. In other words, this is an aspect that reflects the importance of man in the universe.
So why is the punishment so great? An endless crime results in endless torment. Thus, by not fulfilling or abandoning this significant duty, the universe will be left without purpose. It will become meaningless. And the owner of the universe will demand the rights of the entire universe from him.
May Allah be pleased with you. That was a very beautiful answer. There are truly some amazing examples there. Just as a person investigates and learns everything very seriously in even the smallest worldly matters, in the same way, he absolutely should not remain indifferent to these important issues that concern his eternal life. Because, as stated in the Risale-i Nur works, the capital of life is very limited, while the necessary tasks are many. That's a very beautiful sentence.
As you said, a person saying, "I didn't know, I wasn't aware," definitely does not constitute an excuse for him. When the crime is serious, for example, if someone who has pulled the trigger and killed a person stands before the judge will assign a punishment according to human justice. Let's say the judge sentences him to 30 years in prison, and that person says, "Well, I didn't know there was such a punishment, I wasn't aware of it." Would this excuse be valid?
Of course not.
So, this cycle of crime is endless. That is why it must face an equally endless threat.
May Allah be pleased with you, friends. You can listen to our lesson about the 23rd word on our page. You can also download the 23rd word to your phones and read it yourself. See you for now. May Allah protect you.